Hi there, it's Tanya. It's Thursday, 12 noon. That means live. Welcome to today's session. I'm going to be talking about gardening and essential oils, quite an exciting subject. I use essential oils in my garden all the time. And hopefully you will learn today which essential oils can support you too, either with attracting the beneficial insects or deterring those that you don't want. And then there's also some good information out there where you very heavily dilute a certain essential oils to be able to water as well because of the benefits that they provide the plants. So let's get started. I can see people coming in. Thank you so much. Welcome. If you can just maybe put in there a comment, do you garden or don't you? And if you don't, it's a very good time now because we are going into lockdown. It is also a very good opportunity, therefore, to start growing some food. Even if it's just lettuce leaves or herbs, experiencing them and eating them when you've literally just cut them off the plant. I can't even describe the taste difference to you because it's just absolutely out of this world compared to the things that you buy off the shelf in the supermarkets. The reason for that obviously is it's just that fresh. It hasn't been sitting in a warehouse somewhere. It hasn't been sitting in a fridge for months and months. So always a good time to start doing something because we're being forced to. Okay, so welcome. I can see more people coming in. Hello, Yolandi. Hope you're well. Thank you for checking into my live today. We are going to be learning about essential oils as well as gardening. I obviously love gardening. I'm a green-fingered, earth-loving person. I really do have a very big vegetable garden. I grow quite a few herbs and herbs as well. There's always things like companion planting going around. I also try and follow the moon cycles as much as possible because I have found that planting certain plants during the moon cycle do really benefit them from either developing stronger roots or growing foliage at the right time. So we can talk about all of those things today. But the first thing, let's talk about what we can plant now. That's going to be, can just see more highs coming in. Thank you. Lots of hearts and things as well. So what we can do now is literally plant those seedlings that you can get from good organic nurseries or seeds which are going to be able to provide you with something edible within at least 30 to 60 days. So what are we looking at? We're looking at lettuce. A very good example because the seedlings you can buy actually start growing really quickly and you can literally start harvesting salad leaves within a week or two if you're buying a seedling. Growing them from seeds takes slightly longer, but there's definitely hope because they will have something for you to eat within 30 days. And when we're also talking about such a short time frame, think of planting roots. So turnips, beetroot, those kind of things, the leaves that they actually produce, the foliage, very nice in salads. So there's quite a few things that you can start growing and have a crop really quickly and soon. And also remember that the greens from all these root crops that we grow are really tasty and very good in salads. And think about things like radishes too. Radishes literally start pushing out of the ground after you've planted seed within 3 to 4 days. And you can start harvesting within 2 to 3 weeks depending on your soil condition and how many nutrients are actually in your soil. All right, so first things first. When you go outside into the garden, I obviously always wear a hat, because I'm very sun sensitive. Okay, so that's one thing you're going to need. Another thing you're going to need if you don't like bugs, I like them. So I don't put that much prevention on. But if you're scared that you're going to get bitten by spiders or there's a lot of termites around at the moment, unfortunately, quite a lot of them, I can hear them actually when they're starting to break off the dead grass. I live in an area where there's quite a lot of wild grasslands. So I can actually hear them. It's nerve-wracking in a sense. Hopefully they're not eating my plants, but at least they're getting food to get them through their winters. Okay, so if you want to put something on you that's going to be repelling to insects, think of all the things that have very pungent smells because insects don't tend to like those, okay? So good things to look out for instance, for putting on as a bug spray is essential oils of lemongrass, catnip, cedarwood, Arbor Vitae. Oh, Michelle is saying, hello, skinny one. I'm going to say hello, skinny too. Thank you for joining. And things like eucalyptus. All of these got very pungent smells. And then you can also start combining things like garlic. But obviously, I'm not going to smear garlic all over myself, right? So I usually just make a blend that I can spray onto myself. And I always dilute it in carrier oil as well, because that's going to keep the aromatics from the essential oils localized on the skin for longer, which means the repelling power is going to be there for longer. Okay, so things that you, and just a recap for getting the critters to not come and eat you or bite you. So think about mosquitoes, trying to get flies away. Peppermint, really good. Eucalyptus, even lemon eucalyptus, if you've got arbor vitae, very good one to use. Rosemary. So all the things with really pungent smells. I wouldn't be adding citrus oils at this stage because remember, they are photosensitive. So when you're going to go into the sun, you're going to get sensitivities and pigmentation. So really not a good idea to put a citrus essential oil onto your skin when you are going to go out in the sun. Okay, so there's your bug spray. All right. Then if we now start looking into which essential oils or natural products we can use to ward off the pest. So here we're referring to things like aphids, plant lice, and snails. Oh my goodness, guys, I have got so many snails because I do live in an area with all this grassland. There used to be quite a lot of wild garlic growing in my garden before I started switching it to more edible vegetables and those kind of things. So there's obviously a large amount of snail eggs in my soil, and garlic is sort of the best thing. I know you do get some organic sort of compounds that you can buy from very good organic nurseries, where the snails literally prefer those things, and they're like these little pellets. They eat those instead of your plants, and then they stop eating your plants, and then they die with time. But I think a very good way is also, if you don't want to make a garlic spray because it can be quite stinky, is literally what they say is you can just take garlic cloves and plant them in the ground around the beds where your snails tend to lie their eggs all the time. And that's going to ward them off as well. And I certainly need to go and do that today because I have very recently planted some flat leaf kale seedlings as well as some Brussels sprouts, and my plants are struggling to survive. The snails really, really love those. Okay, so also think about companion planting. Companion planting is where you plant two species of plants together, either because the one is going to benefit the other one's growth, or the one for instance, if you plant nasturtiums, they will attract the plant lice instead of them going to attack your whatever vegetable it is that you're growing. Okay, and that's sad for me because I love eating nasturtium flowers as they're growing on their sort of viney plants. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of eating 500 plant lice while I'm eating one nasturtium flower. So it's quite sad for me, but I do plant them because in that way they are companion plants and they deter those bugs then from eating my real crops. Okay, so I've got some interesting info here with regards to general insect prevention. It comes from one of my favorite books, The Complete Book of Essential Oils and Aromatherapy. There we go. All right, and what they talk about is for general insect prevention, you can make a spray using lemon eucalyptus, basil, lavender, geranium, and peppermint. And they've got another blend where they talk about lemongrass, peppermint, and lavender. You can see they're all very pungent smells. And then there's a third blend where they talk about eucalyptus lemon. So it's lemon eucalyptus, sorry about that, basil, clove, and lavender. Okay, and then if you are going to be taking part, because this is a two-way scenario here, please go pop in the comments. I will hopefully see them as they come up. If you're interested in natural insect repellents for a specific insect, please go pop them in the comments now, because there's a very long table here, and I'm going to be able to help you teach you which plants you can grow as companion plants. In other words, the plants that are going to repel the pests, but also which essential oils. So please go in there in the comments, go and put in, for instance, snails or whatever it is that you need help with, and I'll quickly reference the table and give you some tips. Okay, so please just go ahead and put the comments in there. Then as those comments are coming through, I think at this moment, let's just talk about the moon cycles quickly, okay? So I'm someone that plants according to the moon cycles. It's not always necessary. I mean, plants are really hardy. They actually do really well. But I do find that they grow a lot quicker and their roots really do develop a lot stronger if you are doing it in the right time phase of the moon. And the reason it works is just because everything is mostly water. It depends on where the moon phase is sitting or how full or how new it is, and basically what happens is the water is then of the plant is then either focused at root level or in the foliage. So for instance, if the water content in the foliage is really high, we call it high sap run, and then it's not a good idea to do pruning, because then you're really going to damage the plant. It's always a good idea to prune, for instance, when there's more water in the roots, okay, so that the plants don't die back. All right, so let's just look. I've got this very nifty guide. I actually got it online, guys. Really good postage. Planting calendar, South African, and it runs from July 2019 to June 2020. This is what it looks like. I have no idea. I'm not an affiliate of them or anything. It's just there's some pretty pictures. Very good planting calendar telling you what to plant when. And up till today, actually, we are supposed to prepare beds for fertile period, add compost, mulch, and repair. Okay. So, Rosario says her favorite pastime is gardening. You see, it's so relaxing, hey? It's very good for the stress levels. But besides that, remember, while we're gardening, remember, Tanya is all about gut health as well. All those microbes from the soil they're dispersing into the air, and we're getting them in through our mouths and in through our noses. And how awesome is that? Because you're just supplementing your gut bacteria and making them even more robust, which means you are supporting your immune system, which is obviously something that we need to really focus on at the moment. Okay. So gardening is good for you. It's good for the soul. It's good for the hands. It's good for the gut bacteria, and therefore the immune system too. All right, so if we look at the dates, I love the way that they write this. When you're supposed to be mulching, when you're not supposed to be planting, they say, allow your plants to rest during the new moon. It's a good time for fishing. Okay, so during new moon, basically what happens is all the moisture of the plant is not in the foliage, it's actually in the roots themselves. Okay, so that's how the moon cycles work. So from tomorrow, you still have time to go and buy some seeds today and some seedlings if you want to, because from tomorrow we can plant crops that produce fruit above the ground. We can transplant very effectively, and we can also tend to roses and ornamental flowers. And the reason we need to do that is because we want to promote pollination of grains and grasses, okay? And it's also a good time from tomorrow onwards until the 31st to plant beans and peas. Okay, there we go. I, for one, am also going to start planting some microgreens because they grow really quickly. All right, so little salad leaves, little mustard salad leaves, and even lettuce is going to do really well. If you can get some heirloom seeds, you're winning, hey? Because the heirlooms, actually, they haven't been modified in such a sense. So the plants actually produce their own seeds. And when you let them go and you let them bolt to seed in the winter, you can harvest those and plant them again. And then you're technically in a situation where if they self-seed, they will come up again. And you never really have to go and invest a lot of money again to buy more seeds, okay? So let's start talking about which oils attract the beneficial ones, in other words, the pollinators. So here we've got to look at very flowery essential oils, okay? There's a lot of people that also use flower essential oils in their insect farms, okay? It's these beautiful little structures that they built for all the little insects that can go in there. There's quite a lot of nice info about that online. You can have lots of time to Google that now. But the flower oils do really well for that, okay? So thinking patchouli, rose is a little bit expensive, I'd say. Lavender, geranium, those kind of essential oils really do attract the beneficial insects as well. Okay. I need to see more comments coming through. All right. Who is looking to know which essential oils can help for a specific pest insect? Okay. Please pop them in the comments so that I can help you with that. And then, I think that's about it. So the ones that we are going to repel from our body: cedarwood, catnip, lemongrass, peppermint, or even spearmint, and eucalyptus or lemon eucalyptus, okay? So I certainly have an issue with snails. So planting garlic in the beds, just around, or cutting them open, that garlic smell really does ward them off. You can also do a physical barrier. So breaking up eggshells is a really good way, because all those sharp edges, they don't like them. So when they go over it, they get hurt, okay? So that's a good one to put around your garden as well. Plus you're adding all the minerals back into the soil as well, right? So slugs and snails, they talk about garlic and chives. Those are plants that you can actually plant. And that's exactly why I actually have so many snail eggs. It's because I had so much wild garlic growing in my garden. All the snails went to those plants, and obviously they laid eggs. And now, unfortunately, they're no longer there because I planted vegetables, but now all the eggs are hatching. Okay, so probably that was an error in hindsight. But essential oils that work really well for snails: garlic, cedarwood, hyssop, pine, peppermint, clove, and rosemary. So you can see there's quite a lot of very pungent, and some of them smell really good to us. Okay, so it's going to make our garden smell good for us, but the pests are just going to stay away. So a lot of things that people also deal with are obviously aphids, especially if you're growing Brussels sprouts, broccolis, those kind of sulfur, mustardy kind of plants. So aphids, rosemary and marigold, nasturtiums and spearmint, stinging nettles, those are plants that you can plant close by as companions because they're going to deter. And then for aphids, for essential oils that you can spray onto your plants, quite diluted. Always when it's not the mid-time day, right? So you've got to do it early morning or early evening or late evening. Rosemary, marigold, which is dagites, aniseed, spearmint, peppermint, cedarwood, hyssop, coriander, neem, and wintergreen. So you can see a lot of strong oils there. Okay. Michelle is asking which oils can be used aftercare for my skin and hands after a day in the garden. Those are going to be the very soothing ones for your skin. So definitely lavender. Lavender and aloe vera are brilliant at soothing the skin, especially now. Besides the fact that we're washing our hands every single half an hour because of the environmental threats at the moment, when you do work in the garden, even if you're wearing gloves, your hands really do take a punishing. Okay, so aloe vera is really soothing to the skin, and try and add some lavender because that really works. And you can also add some frankincense because frankincense sort of stimulates regeneration of cells as lavender does. Okay, so those are the two oils that I would be adding to a good, thick, and nice hand cream. All right, you can even try some organic shea butter because shea butter is actually very juicy and it's like wax-like, so it stays on your skin for quite a while and is very nourishing. All right, I think that about does it for today. Thank you so much. If there are any additional pests that you need help with in your garden, please put them in the comments. I'll go and look at all my resources and let you know which essential oils are going to be beneficial to ward them off. And then I'm going to say to you, go and get your seeds, get your hat, and enjoy the gardening during the lockdown. I will see you guys next week, Thursday. Cheerio.